Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to the session PadovaFIT Expanded, one-stop shop for the energy refurbishment of condominiums in the Padova metropolitan area. So my name is Michele Sansoni, and I'm a project manager working in the Life Energy and Climate Unit of SINEA, which is the newly established European Climate Infrastructure and Environment Executive Agency of the European Commission. So while we wait for the participants to enter the room, I will just give you some house rules. So before starting the session, so please mute your microphones and switch off your cameras. We will dedicate 30 minutes to the presentation and 15 minutes for question and answer. If you have questions during the presentation, you can write them in the chat box. Please, if you do that, add your name and affiliation. Or, of course, you can also raise your hand and take the floor, asking directly the question to the speaker during the question and answer part. So, as I said, SINEA, among the other programs supporting the European Green Deal, manages in particular the LIFE program. And the new LIFE program will feature 4 sub-programs. One of them is the Clean Energy Transition sub-program, which will continue to support market uptake activities previously funded under the Energy Efficiency Call of Horizon 2020. So if you have any questions on the upcoming LIFE program, we have a dedicated session tomorrow afternoon at 2:30 p.m. or you can also log into the virtual fair tomorrow afternoon. But now let's go back to this session, which concerns an Horizon 2020 project. Its name is PadovaFIT Expanded. And we have the pleasure today to have with us Giovanni Vicentini, who is the lead technical officer of the project in the municipality of Padova in Italy. Giovanni holds a degree in town and territorial planning and a master's degree in environmental risk analysis, and he's an expert in energy management and environmental issues with a long experience in managing European projects. So without further ado, Giovanni, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Michele. I hope you can see the presentation. Yes. Just a confirmation. Michele, can you see the presentation?
We can see it. We can see it.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay. Okay. So thank you for inviting us and for letting us, for having the opportunity to present you this project, which are handling in Padova, but also with 2 other cities in Europe, 2 cities in Bulgaria, the city of Vidin and Smolyan, and the city of Timisoara in Bulgaria. Of course, now today I'm going to present you the approach we are following in Padova, but the same approach will be followed in the next year, also in the other follower cities. As you can see here, the SECAP is our main action plan in the municipality of Padova, and the one-stop shop is one of the key actions we included in this document. The SECAP is the Sustainable Energy and Climate Action Plan, and within this project and within this plan, we have included all the actions that the municipality is implementing, not only regarding the refurbishment of public or private buildings, but also in the other topics, for example, sustainable mobility, low carbon economy, smart cities, etc. So the one-stop shop is really one of the key pillars of our SECAP and one of the action we are going to implement also in the next 10 years. Yes, of course, the one-stop shop is something we are developing within the Horizon 2020 project. So we are handling the project at the end of the next year, but our hope is to implement this action until at least until the end of the 2030. So with a 10 years time frame. Of course, we started from the analysis of the status of the art in Padova, and we understood that most part of our buildings were built between the 60s and 70s, where a high demand of the houses were needed in Padova, as in the other Italian cities after the Second World War. But we also are facing really a high energy consumption in the residential sector. As you can see, 180 kilowatt hours per square meter is quite a high value for the Italian situation. And on the other side, we have some social problems, some social difficult conditions regarding the elderly people. More or less 30% of our population is over 65 years old. So we are really a lot of elderly families and people living in our houses. And we have an increased number of families in energy poverty condition. Of course, the COVID-19 epidemic is worsening this situation in the last 2 years. So the one-stop shop is a solution for this situation, at least in our opinion. We started in 2030 with the process with the former project PadovaFIT. PadovaFIT was the name of this project, funded by Intelligent Energy Europe program. That project was only focused on condominiums, whereas this project, this new project, PadovaFIT Expanded, that I'm of course speaking about, is extended to the other building typologies, so also single family houses. The former project was focused only on the municipality of Padova, really Italian-based project, and the new one, as I mentioned before, is also replicated in 2 other EU countries, so Romania and Bulgaria. The first one was really based on the APC contracts, third-party financing, so involving ESCOs in the local market. This new project is based on the new concept of one-stop shop. Is, of course, pushed a lot by the European Commission in the last years. Of course, this is the first project we managed in the last years, the PadovaFIT. So we model based on the central role of the ESCO. So with the municipality acting as a general contractor toward the ESCO, selecting the ESCO, having a public tender to select the ESCO for the local market, and then the ESCO having single contracts with the condominiums. It was, really something which was really helpful in the past, but also with some limitations. We have this model was really important for us to be implemented in only some buildings. So it was really important for condominiums, for example, where we had a lot of big investments and big energy savings, which can be reached by the ESCO, but it was not so good to be implemented in the other building typologies. So our decision was to enlarge a little bit our perspective and moving from the ESCO model to the one-stop shop model, which is really helpful to increase the number of beneficiaries of our project. In the first PadovaFIT model, we also included some key aspects, for example, the energy savings, guaranteed energy savings, or the quality assurance to the beneficiaries. And these key aspects of the former project, the PadovaFIT project, have been moved to the new one. So our actual situation with the one-stop shop is taking, of course, the best solution implementing the former project and enlarging a little bit our perspective to other beneficiaries, to other building typologies, etc. So, okay, so the benefits, of course, of the former project, the PadovaFIT, was really the APC contract was something really new at that time. So something useful for our citizens, because probably for the first time, the guaranteed of energy saving were included in the contracts, but was not sufficient for us. So we decided to move towards the one-stop shop concept, something new, something launched by the European Commission, as I mentioned before, in 2018 with the EU directive, and something quite not so, with not a single definition, a unique definition. It's something really different among the different the existing OS in Europe and in Italy are quite different one compared to the others. Each one has a different approach, a different legal basis, different available resources, different services that they are providing to the citizen, to the beneficiaries. And so we started from the analysis of the status of the art, of course. So we started from the analysis of the existing OS in Europe. We understood that all the existing OS were merging the demand and the supply sides. So the demand is the citizens and the supply side is the operators working in the building sector, professional associations, companies, ESCOs, all these kind of stakeholders represent the supply side. So all the OS are trying to connect somehow the demand and the supply, but all the existing OS are providing different services. For example, in some cases, they are providing only information services at the beginning of the journey. In some other cases, they are providing also technical services, for example, providing the design of the project, or providing also the works directly with the OS itself. In some other cases, for example, they are providing also financial support to the beneficiaries. What was important to us is understand really what it was needed at local level in Padova. So what was our needs in Padova, and of course in our follower cities in Bulgaria and Romania. So we're starting somehow a process. I will come back to other slides after. And this is more or less the process we are following. So who will be part of this one-stop shop? Only public companies or also private companies? And the second step is, what corporate form will the OS have in Padova and of course in our follower cities? The third question is, which services are we going to provide to our beneficiaries? And the last step is, which kind of resources will support the OS in its initial stage, so the design of the OS itself, but also after in the implementation phase, when the OS will provide effectively the service to the citizen and to our citizen in Padova, of course. I'm coming back to the previous slide because I would like to give you only a few information regarding the project. Of course, it has been funded by the European H2020 program. The budget is more or less 1.5 million euros, and we have 8 partners. 5 are based in Italy. Of course, the municipality of Padova, which is the leader partner of this project. We also have 2 other partners in Padova, Sinloc and Sogesca, which are working on the financial and technical part of the project. We have the University of Bocconi for the definition of the business model and the replication of this model to the other cities in Italy and Europe. And we have the Forum for Finanza Sostenibile, also involving several associations active in the financial topic, of course. And we have 3 other external partners in Europe, Climate Alliance, which is supporting us in the communication of the project, in peer learning activities, etc. And the 2 follower cities in Timisoara, of course, in Romania, and in Bulgaria, the Energy Agency of Plovdiv, which is the technical partner which are supporting the 2 cities of Vidin and Smolyan. Okay. So, as I mentioned before, we started from the analysis of the status of the art, and we started with the identification of the barriers existing at local level, so weaknesses, threats, and also with the favorable condition which were existing in Padova at least, so the strengths and the opportunities. We started with the analysis of the building characteristics, with the family's financial capacity, which is really a first step to understand which kind of services the OS can provide to them. And we started also with the analysis of the political factors, the economic factors, something which is related to the local context, but also to the regional and the national environment. Because of course we are as a medium municipality in Italy, so we are following the rules from our region and our national government, of course. So we are in a bigger frame, and we have to understand which is the best condition of our OS within the existing national conditions, of course, under the regulatory point of view. We are defining more or less the one-stop shop model in Padova. We are starting with the demos tool, the demos identification, the demo pilots buildings in September, and then with the implementation of our services. And we are in the middle between the facilitation model and the coordination model. So these are 2 of the main models you can find in Europe. If you look at the 30, 40 existing OS in Europe, most of them are between these 2 models. Okay, so the facilitation model is more to provide information, to support the clients, to support the entire chain, refurbishment chain, and to make, of course, the renovation journey easier, to simplify the process. And in this model, you don't have fixed partners. We are between this one and this one, the other one, which is the coordination model, where you identify some trusted partners, and in our case, we are doing that. You have more a coordination management role within the refurbishment journey, and you also have a role in guaranteeing the quality checks in the ex post monitoring phase, and controlling somehow also the companies which are performing the refurbishment effectively. Okay. This is more or less how we are the process in our municipality. So we're really working on the step 1, 2, and 7. So as municipality, we have a general role to increase the awareness of our citizen in these topics. So we are providing them a lot of information regarding the opportunities they could have to refurbish their home. We started with the engagement of citizens, so with the selection of the case studies in our municipalities, where to implement effectively the services provided by the one-stop shop. And we are also providing them to these case studies some energy analysis of their buildings to understand which are their needs, what are the key partners they should be in contact with, for example, professionals or companies, etc. And with this energy analysis, we are also letting them. Yeah. If you can mute your microphone, please. Sorry for that. Yeah, with the energy analysis, we are also fixing some minimum requirements for the building. So, for example, some minimum requirements regarding the minimum energy saving, which should be reached in that building, or some minimum comfort requirements for the building. In the central part of the process, so step 3, 4, and 5, we as hosts in Padova, we are not acting directly. So we leave the floor to the market itself, so to the professional boarders, to the companies which are working in the local market, and they can freely sign contracts with our clients, but with some minimum
other aspects which go hand in hand with the renovation, which is digitalization, making buildings smarter, smart ready, but also really to ensure smart operation of the building.
I hear someone else speaking. I don't know if it is a question or.
Please go on, Giovanni. I think there was a.
Okay, perfect. So as I mentioned before,
I take the opportunity to tell you that you have 10 minutes left, more or less.
Okay, perfect. So in the central part of the process is left to the market. So the company, for example, can sign the contract directly with the citizen, with the client of the one-stop shop, but with some minimum rules fixed by the one-stop shop itself. So we are preparing some standard contracts with some minimum rules, and the contract which is signed between the company and the client should include at least the minimum requirements fixed by the one-stop shop. And the one-stop shop is also coming at the end of the process with the ex post monitoring. And with this monitoring, we are we compare what is the results of the refurbishment with what initially set in the energy analysis. And then we help the citizen, the client, in understanding if the company did well its work, and if the minimum requirements have been reached by the company itself. Okay, I move on. We are, of course, as municipality and as us, we are working a lot of the engagement of stakeholder, and we are engaging both technical and financial stakeholder. And in the first phase of our project, we started with asking them some key questions, which are the existing technical and financial services that you are already providing on the market. So we had to understand what they were already providing on the market to understand which kind of complementary solution the host could implement in the local market. So our idea is to enlarge the market of our local players, professionals and companies, and to provide them complementary solutions, of course, and guarantee the client, the citizen at the same time. Of course, another important aspect of our project was the engagement of citizens. So in this case, we prepared a strategy to engage them, and we used a lot of the different instruments, in some cases, digital instruments, mainly in this phase of the COVID-19 epidemic. And probably starting from September 2021, we will implement also the face-to-face instruments, for example, the information evenings or other events which will be organized at local level, or the works, demonstration, etc. We started with the digital tools, of course, due to the pandemic situation. And for example, we created a dedicated website for our citizens, and this kind of service for the citizen, where the citizen can search for information in our websites. And if the citizen cannot find what he's searching for, they can reserve an appointment with our technicians, the technicians of the energy desk of the one-stop shop, and select the day and time of the reservation and have a free call with our technicians. And in this way, we can provide them what they need. So understand if they need a project, the design of the project, if they need a list of companies, if they need a support in the ex-post monitoring, etc. In which phase of the refurbishment journey they are, of course, depending on in which phase they are. Okay, this is only a few pictures from our communication campaign in Padova. So we use, for example, the advertising on the city tram. We use the poster on the main streets of our city, etc. What is important now is that we started with the energy desk, so a very simple information tool for our citizen. We are also increasing the number of services provided to the citizens with the integration of the services, also with this bilateral connection with the other stakeholders which are working at local level in our municipality, so technical and financial stakeholders. So we are enlarging a little bit the number of services provided to the clients, to the citizens. And in autumn, we will start effectively with the implementation of our OS and all the services provided by the OS. So starting from the engagement of the citizen, providing then the energy diagnosis, and after the end of the refurbishment journey with the ex-post monitoring. Okay, I move on. Super bonus, as of course, it was an important initiative in Italy launched by the national government and moving a lot the local market, of course, regarding the refurbishment of the buildings, because the government is providing up to 110% of the cost occurred for the refurbishment as fiscal rebate. So this is a really powerful instrument for Italy, and of course, our OS should somehow be coordinated with this national tool. So we started with the analysis of the super bonus, and we are understanding how our OS can exploit this instrument also at local level, and to enlarge the number of beneficiaries. And my last slides, just to make you understand how the OS is working, starting from September. So the main process. We identified these four main stakeholders. So we have the one-stop shop, so with the municipality of Padova and other stakeholders, other partners. We have the technical stakeholders, professional owners, and professional themselves, of course. We have the trade association of the building sector and the companies and the ESCOs. And we have, of course, the financial operators and banks. We have four different kind of stakeholders at local level. And we are defining altogether a direction cabin, so identifying some key representatives for each stakeholder. And the one-stop shop will be the entry point of the refurbishment journey, more or less. So, for example, if the citizen needs an initial energy diagnosis or a pre-feasibility study, the one-stop shop will provide directly this to the citizen. If the citizen needs A refurbishment project, really a refurbishment project, for example, also including the seismic safety of the building or other aspects of the refurbishment, we are going to link the client, so the citizen, with the skilled professional or a network of professionals. So in this case, the one-stop shop is acting like a coordinator, putting together the demand, so the client with the supply, in this case, the skilled professional. If the citizen needs to be safeguarded in the relationship with the professional, we are providing to the citizen some standard contracts with the minimum requirements I was mentioning before. If the citizen needs to understand the price quotation for example, for the project, for the design of the project, we also are providing them some reference prices for our local market. On the other side, if the citizen needs to find a company to implement the refurbishment, we are working with the trade association to provide them a list of skilled companies with some minimum requirements also to be part of this list. And in this case, you can see an example from Padova. The Edilizia Più is a list of companies certified by the trade association itself in Padova. At the same time, to safeguard the relationship between the client, the citizen, the company, we are providing also some standard contracts for the works. And in this kind of contracts, we are providing some key minimum rules, key minimum requirements regarding the energy savings, which should be reached by the company itself. So the one-stop shop at the beginning of the process provide the energy diagnosis and fix the minimum requirements. And then the company, with a bilateral contract with the client, should reach that minimum requirements. So we are acting as, in this case, we are preventing the client, the citizen, from a bad situation related to the bad implementation of the refurbishment project. In another case, we are providing also support to the energy poverty families to obtain the invoice discount. This is one of the opportunities provided by the Super Bonus initiative, which can be really important for our families in energy poverty condition. So they can benefit from this invoice discount. So also families without fiscal capacity can perform the energy refurbishment without paying anything. But of course, we as one-stop shop have to put together this kind of families with the list of companies which are providing this kind of invoice discount. So not all the companies are providing the invoice discount. So we have to select them and put together correctly the demand and the supply. In this case, really focus to the energy poverty families. And the last point of our process is to put together the demand with the correct financial products, which are available in the local, still available in the local market, already available in the local market. All the banks are providing specific tools and specific products to the clients. What is really needed, what we understood from the relationship also with the financial operators and the clients on the other side, is that sometimes the citizen is not aware of what are the opportunities available in the local market regarding, of course, the financial products. So our role is to put together the demand and supply, mapping the financial products and making them available in one single way with the one-stop shop to the clients. So we are providing them some guidelines to compare the different opportunities, understand which are the opportunities more tailored for the different situations. For example, a single family house should be interested in a different product compared to the condominium building, for example. And the last step of our process is the monitoring, of course, as I mentioned before. So at the end of the process, we as one-stop shop are monitoring the results of the refurbishment process in terms of energy savings and internal comfort. And we are somehow guaranteeing the client, the citizen, on the results achieved by the company, of course. And we are also setting some bonus-malus approach to guarantee the client and the citizen from the correct implementation of the project. My last slide, and I have finished with my presentation. So we are implementing in Padova, but the same approach would be followed in our follower cities, of course, in Bulgaria and Romania. We are following more or less an indirect approach. So we are leaving space to the local market. We would not overlap our work with what is already existing in the local market, because we are a municipality, so we have to enlarge the market of our players and not to limit their market. So we are trying to enlarge it and not limiting it. But we are, of course, trying to guarantee the client, the citizen, from the work carried out by the companies or the professional. So fixing some minimum requirements. So our model is really based on protocols and standards, on minimum requirements, on minimum energy savings to be reached by the company, and on the smooth relationship between the different stages of the value chain. So we are also acting as coordinator of the different players. What we are trying to do is to enlarge our approach at the provincial level. So not acting only as municipality, but also with a wider approach at the provincial level. This is probably the level most appropriate for this one-stop shop. And in this way, enlarging more and more the market of our local operators. That's all from my side, and open to reply to your questions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Giovanni. Yes, and indeed, I think we can open the floor for questions. Giovanni, do you see a question in the chat from Ivan from Regea?
Yes, just a second. Hello. Few details regarding internal project team. Okay, how is long-term sustainability of the OS? Okay, so the internal project team. So we are, as a municipality, we have 22 departments, and we tried from the beginning to involve 3 or 4 of them in the project, and we asked them to identify one reference person. So we now set up an internal project team, internal to the municipality, I mean. So we have 4 reference persons coming from 4 different departments. So we have the public works department, we have the private buildings department, the environmental department, and of course the financial department. And we have a wider project team, which is also including our the other partners of the project. So we have some technical partners, as I mentioned before, so Jessica and Silok covering the technical and financial part, but also some university and association which are helping us in identifying the correct business model and in the replication phase. And we are also enlarging more our project team, including some reference person from the key stakeholders which are working in our territory. And as key stakeholders, I mean the professional boarders, architects, engineers, etc. I mean some big companies, some big ESCOs which are working in Padova, some building associations representing the companies, of course, some key financial players, some key banks which are really important in Padova. So we have different levels of project teams. So we have the municipal project team, the project team of the PadovaFIT Expanded project team. We have a territorial project team, which is also involving some key reference person from the stakeholders in Padova. And we have also a national project team, because we are also part of the project is also creating a national advisory board. So putting together all the existing one-stop shop in Italy. And we are working with them also to create something which is sustainable in the long term. And in this way, I can provide you the answer to the second question. So how is long-term sustainability guaranteed? We are trying to identify also with this other OS in Italy, which is the best solution for the Italian situation. Of course, now in 2021, probably in 2022 and 2023, we have this super bonus initiative, which is coming from the national level, which is moving a lot to the local market. And it's not easy for the municipality to identify which is the best solution which can provide it to the client to be in line with the national initiative. But as I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, our hope is to have the OS in place until the end of 2030. So we have a 10 years perspective, and we are identifying which are the costs of our OS, which is more or less to now we are imaging a cost of 100,000 up to 200,000 euros per year, which is more or less the cost of our OS in implementation in the next years. And we are understanding also on the other side, which are the resources which can be available from the partners of the OS itself, from some fees which can be applied to the clients, and from also other external resources, for example, regional and national resources directly to the OS to support the OS in its implementation phase. So we have the costs more or less up from 100,000 to 200,000 euros. These are the costs more or less of our OS in the next years. On the other side, we have to understand which are the key resources we can obtain from the local market or from the upper levels. And in that way, we are trying to identify how the sustainability can be guaranteed in the long term. In this phase of the project, we are in this phase of the project. So now we are trying to understand, to identify the pilot sites, and to identify also how we can guarantee this long-term sustainability.
Thank you, Giovanni. It's a very comprehensive answer. Is there any other question from the audience? Because in the meantime, maybe I have one question.
Michele,
okay.
There is another question from Ivan on the chat.
Okay.
How many clients do you plan to support? So we are planning. So in this phase, we have only opened this energy desk, as I mentioned before. So in this phase, we have only the information service to the clients, and we expect to involve from 1,000 to 2,000 people per year regarding only the information, of course, service. But as I mentioned before, also we would like to implement other services to the clients, so that the initial technical feasibility and the ex-post monitoring. These two services we are providing as one-stop shop, leaving the market free to operate in the middle, so between the two phases, the initial and the last phase. We expect to have at least 50 clients per year, at least, to have the OS really operative and sustainable in the long term, at least 50 per year, so 50 projects per year. It depends also on the size of the project, because if we have more condominiums, probably you can have less clients. If we have more single family houses, we should have more clients, because also the fee that we are probably asking to the clients for helping them in the refurbishment journey is different between the one single family houses to the condominiums.
All clear, many thanks. Best of luck.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ivan, also for the interesting questions. Anyone else would like to take the floor to ask Giovanni something? I think we have time for one question. Okay, I can ask you something, Giovanni, in the meantime. Basically, if you had to name one success factor for the process you are developing, which one would be?
But for sure, the engagement of the stakeholders at local level. This is really the key point of an OS, at least an OS where the municipality has a central role, because we have seen also other OS in Europe where the role of the private operators are bigger than our OS, where the municipality is the most important players. In this case, as municipality, we have some we have a role in the local markets. We have to be really neutral, and we have to coordinate all the actors, and we have to maintain really the focus on enlarging the market. And to do that, you should be able to reach the key stakeholders of your territory. So this is, of course, the key aspect of our host, to involve the key players. And it's not so easy, because you should be able to involve them, to create, to provide them the correct messages, to create some expectation in them, because they are normally doing something else. They are doing their traditional work, and you are proposing to them something completely new, a new approach, a new way to collaborate, a new way to cooperate. So involving them is not an easy task. It's something really difficult, because you have to change the mind of the operators, the local operators, which are working in some ways since 50 years probably, and you are asking them to completely change their mind, to work in a different way, to cooperate, to be part of a process, a bigger process, where the municipality has a specific role, and where the municipality should, of course, work for them, so enlarge their market. But at the beginning, they don't understand really what you are proposing to them. So this is really the most important aspect for a one-stop shop, where a local authority is involved and has a key role. No, of course, probably you have also other, as I mentioned before, other examples of OS around Europe, where other players are involved in the provision of services. And probably what I'm saying now is not tailored to all the OS existing in Europe and in Italy, but where the local authorities has a specific role, as in our case, the most important part of the project is the involvement of key stakeholders, and on the other side, the involvement of the citizen and clients, which is also a critical aspect.
Well, thank you very much, Giovanni. I think very interesting, and that's indeed a very important aspect. And indeed, you're trying to develop something which is innovative and new in under many aspects. So good luck for that. And before closing, because we reached the end of this session, I would like to thank you very much again, you, Giovanni. I would say a virtual round of applause. I don't know if people can clap their hands, but I will do that, at least for the audience. And I also have to thank you, the audience and the people, the participants, for your interest in the session. So the recording of the session will be available on the conference website shortly after the end of the conference. And with this, I would like to wish you an interesting continuation of the event, and remind you that the next round of sessions will start at 2 p.m. So you have 15 minutes for a short break. Thank you very much, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you, everybody. Bye.